Maboica, what up? Bienvenido. Yes, bienvenido. Peace. Maboica. I'm here walking a beautiful, beautiful trail over here. I am still in Orlando, Florida. Florida, flower. So I'm here. Um, I haven't much been doing things here on my channel, but I'm going to start. I'm going to rebrand it and going to, expand it a little more. So I just want everybody to be a little patient with me. Let's see, you know. Assalamu alaikum. Whoa, it's been yes, it's been a long, long time since I got up in here. Very, very long time. And I'm gonna drop some things, yeah. So I'm taking a walk and I'm gonna go probably sit in the park and read my book. I still read. I still read. Everything is not all this fourth industrial revolution where everybody with their phone or whatever. I still read. I still read. Miss you, Pa. I know Zaid. I know it's you. I miss you too. I miss you too, man. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah wa barakatuh. Yes, 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 yes. And isn't it well? It's nice that you're here because maybe, I was thinking, walking and thinking like I always do, getting ready to sit in the park, read my book. And wanted to speak about the discussions that I had with with a brother. So this is not by no means a shot at the brother or anything because I respect everybody, and just as long as they don't derogatory come at me with this derogatory statements or try to cause me any harm in any way or try to cause this dissension, what I'm saying, at a very derogatory way. By no means this is not that type of shout out, but I wanted to for one, as I speak about this topic, to really understand where some people are coming from. And I'm beginning to learn in terms of peace, learning the mind, the psychic, the mind of how we, you know, when you converse certain people and seeing where they're coming from and thinking more and more and more or less. So the discussion was on Facebook, okay, a fake book or whatever you want to call it. And the discussion was about spirit. So the brother asked, "What is spirit?" So I defined it. I didn't want to go to the Western Webster dictionary or anything like that. So I defined in terms of etymology and breaking down the words because you have every right to break down words to see how it makes sense to you and how you use it in your everyday life. So I took the word spirit and I told the brother, well, look, in the word spirit, you see the word spiritual, you see the word ritual, right? And what is a ritual? A ritual is a rite of passage, right? Your rituals, you use your hands to form rules, to create, to perform the rituals, your hand. So I kind of like throw it back in the ancient Kemetic, when they turned the word spirit, they would put the hands up like that. So it's the hands, the hands. A spiritual person, uses a hand to create. It's a rite of passage. So I broke up the words. They told me, well, what the SPI mean? And I said, like, well, that's spur. The word spur. When you spur, why? You spur a ritual. In other words, you spit out a ritual. You spur it, you stir it. They got spiritual, you cook it. That's a ritual. You know what I'm saying? And that to me, that's spiritual. Every religion has that in it because they spur out certain rituals. You go to the Catholic Church, you have certain rituals that they perform in the table with the priest, blessing the wine, and there's certain rituals, and they actually performing it with their hands. So that's what we call about. So that's what I mean about spurring the rituals, right? The brother, you know what the brother said? That's word gymnastics. In a way, I kind of like, we're taken back and like, word gymnastics? Well, first of all, I love gymnastics. I even took a little gymnastics when I was in the cadets at a very early age. So that's no biggie. Word gymnastics. So I'm like, is he giving me a compliment? But then he started telling me he hates when people do that, blah, 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 blah. Then he went on to define spirit in terms of breath in the Webster Dictionary. He Googled it in Webster Dictionary. Now, here's the problem with that. And yeah, I use Webster Dictionary when I have to deal with certain definitions for a certain way, you know what I'm saying? But here's the problem. Webster is not the authority on the English language. You have so many dictionaries, man. I mean, and you got also thesauruses. You have so many different types of books of reference when it comes to words in English language. I thought it was a little ingenuine when he put that down. So now he says spirit is breath. It's simply breath. Well, what do you mean by breath? Are you talking about breathing when we're taking the oxygen, right? And we let out the carbon dioxide? Were you talking about that process of breathing and breath? Is that what you call spiritual? Or is it referring to breath like when you breathe yourself, when you breath, and they use that in art and in music, you breathe. That means you put your character personality in the works. Bro, you breathe onto me your character too, almost like what they call that, allegorically or metaphorically. So very, very careful with that. You have to be very, very careful with that. You just can't say it is just breath. Well, what do you mean by breath? Because then you have to go deep into the conversation. When you speak, because he's like against a lot of religious people, and I'm like, well, first of all, those religious texts resonates, right? It sounds like a good resonates, right? When you resonate, also you breathe. You breathe into the atmosphere. You breathe into your environment. You breathe into it your character and personality, right? Yourself, your way. You know what I'm saying? So when it talks about these, when it's about breath, nafaf or anima is soul, but you got hu or ruhu. When you talk about in the Arabic or ruhu or the naf, right? All these texts are not referring to the physicality of chemistry or physicality of the human. It's dealing with the character and personality. So if it says, I breathe into his nostril, the breath of life, through his nostril, he breathed, and I breathed to him part of my ruhu, and he became a nafs, right? Breathe into a character and personality. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of these character personality passes on genetically. That's why I say, oh man, you act like your father, you act like your mother. This is what's referred to as that particular ruhu or breath. But the brother always tries, always try to deter people. Always, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out why is he thinking like this? What, some of us we have so much trauma and traumatic, and a lot of us become very traumatic. Try to become something at an early age. You have to, and then all suddenly you're cut off. You believe, you're cut off. Like for instance, I'm a music artist. I'm a percussionist, but I don't look at it like about fame. To me, no. Maybe at one time, but yeah, see, you can get eluded by the illusion of fame so much, and then like you can't reach that level, and suddenly it kind of like form a traumatic type of attitude in a person. I noticed that it changes them. It changes them. Become very, I don't know, disgruntled, the skeptic. Got to be very, very careful how people are not protecting themselves when you have a lot of these again, personality, death gases, personality that are seeping in into your genetics and seeping into your way of life. And they're not being protected, so they become skeptic at everything. The skeptical mind is a very interesting mind, yo. Let me tell you. Always, you can see that skeptic person. And I know many of us here, we know somebody who's a skeptic. Everything you try to present to this person, like, is always a skeptic. That's a personality. That to me is an illness, to be honest with you. Is an illness because it's not a wise person that were able to just stay quiet and at the same time use paradoxical thinking. Look at, before you cross that track, you got to look both ways. You know what I'm saying? So the skeptic mind is just critical, skeptic from day one, and they continue on being that. And that causes a lot of dissension amongst us. That causes a lot of separatism and a lot of dissension amongst us. You know what I'm saying? It's an illness. We're not perfect, I know that, but we have to work towards correcting certain personalities and character that we have acquired from, from childhood and stuff like that. We got to correct ourselves. It's a never. So you talk about breath, and tell people, look, what's going on? Okay, something in here. Okay, so just person, but I understand religion. I respect it. For me, the way I imagine it, okay, that it's rocks. But in rocks, there's jewels. There's jewels and stones you're gonna pick. If you pick the stones, then you better know how to read, right? I always say that the runes. If you pick jewels, you take those jewels and you polish it and you keep it and you save and you use it for your benefit, those jewels. So in every religion, there are jewels. There are jewels. It's just that some people happen to resonate more with the stones and things that have been done in the name of religion that has been detrimental to certain people. I don't knock that. I know that. I know that no one religion can save a community. No one religion can save a community. And in certain communities, no one religion can save it. But the combination of many of those religions to form your own sense of rules. Because when you deal with religion, litigare, and it deals with binding you to certain rules and principles. Rules and principles to live by. That's what religion does. So you got to have these rules and regulations in life. Because if not, everything becomes chaotic and people are not held accountable for certain things. Especially when you're dealing with communities, there have to be some type of rules and regulations, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think even amongst the tribes that you may look at the indigenous tribe in the jungle or something, they have their particular rules and regulations of doing things, They have elders that sit in councils. That's their sense of, for lack of a better term. And then they perform their rituals. That's their spirituality. And those rituals also is the economics, because when you deal with rituals and you deal with the forces of nature and using that to spur something up, that's your economics, your echo, your habitat. You use that and you form your rituals, and that's your spirituality. So a lot of the principles of a lot of definitions and principles of spirituality could be very well connected. You just have to reason that out, and to the brother, what I'm saying, you just can't just quote me something from Webster dictionary, and think that's it. No, it goes further than that. Like I said, the Webster dictionary or Google dictionary, anything is not the authority on particular words. It's not. You know what I'm saying? That's the mind trick, that a lot of brothers play. Oh, well, let's look at the dictionary. Let's see what the dictionary. Okay, that's what the dictionary says. The dictation. That's the edited dictation. That's what it says. Okay? But it goes more far beyond that. I have respect for that. I use a dictionary, no doubt about it, but it goes far more beyond that. The Webster Dictionary or these type of different dictations. Far more behind that. Webster is not the authority on the English language. I'm sorry to say that. Now, and real quick, another thing that the brother try to do. And no shout out to this brother too, man. I think, I don't know, he shows pictures of him in the studio. Seems to be very talented. He knows what he's doing, working on projects, whatever. That's cool and all. But I think that we have to pull each other coat when we need to. You know what I'm saying? We really, really need to pull each other's coat on certain things. Wepa que nepa. So one thing about is the use of the Arabic language. Now, there are certain brothers out here, all they know is Quranic Arabic. They study the Quran, so they go and they study and they cross-reference it, and that's knowledgeable. That's okay, that's Quranic. But then they cannot have a simple conversation with an Arabic-speaking person because they don't speak that dialect. There's a difference between conversational Arabic and Quranic Arabic. There's a difference because there are many people in the Middle East that speaks Arabic, conventional Arabic, that's their language, right? But cannot understand the Quranic Arabic, cannot understand Quran. They're confused, And then you have people that speak the Quranic Arabic, but they really don't converse in that language. But they study the different words. For instance, I'll give you a good example. In the conversational Arabic, if I come to you and I say, what for one? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You say, wa alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. You know what I'm saying? So we greet each other. You do find the word assalamu, right? Barakat. You find those words in the Quran, right? But not in that conversational sense, right? If it's a conversation between Allah and Muhammad, right? Whoever is speaking to, right? So you say, Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Ma ismuka. You see that? Ma ismuka, what's your name? Ismi Abdul Sabor Abdullah Muhammad. Wa anta, my name. What's your name? Ma ismuka. Ismi Abdul Sabor Abdullah Muhammad. You don't find a conversation between Allah, the angel, with Muhammad saying, Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum salam. Ma'ismuka, what's your name? You don't say Ma'ismuka. You don't read that in the Quran. That's conversational, right? Ismi, you see, bismi within the state of ismi. I am in the state. I am Abdul Sabor Abdullah Muhammad. And then I say tasharafna. It's a pleasure to meet you. That's conversational. That's not Quranic. Now, if I go, Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. That means recite. This is a command. Recite Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. In the name of your Lord who created you. In the name of the Rabb who created you. Recite Ikra. Quran. Ikra. Right? That's Quranic. You don't speak like that in conversational. You don't come up to a person and say, Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. You don't say that because you know what I'm saying? Your status. You're not, So when the brother comes on and there's a brother that said, I was studying Quran and then the brother come on and say, well, how can you study Quran? You don't even know how to speak in Arabic. Because I don't use conversational Arabic doesn't mean that I cannot learn about the Quran. I speak a very little, very little bit of conversational Arabic. Then I can go into the Holy Quran, and I know 9 surahs I was trained by heart that I can recite to you. Salatul Fatiha, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim, Siratal ladhina an'amta alayhim, Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Right? That's Quran. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul huwallahu ahad, Allahu as-samad. Lam yalid walam yulad walam yakun lahu kufuwan ahad. An Arabic speaker person, that's in the Quran, right? Then I could come and say, Naam, Haza, what is it? Naam, Hazazi, Hazazi fi Quran. Yes, it is in the Quran. You know, I can speak a little bit conversational, but I wasn't, I'm not born into it. You know what I'm saying? I spent a good 4 or 5 years learning conversational Arabic, but then as I grew, further away from that, I didn't continue it on, but it's still a lot of things stuck with me, because as I will meet Arabic speaking people, they understand what I'm saying when I say أنا أتكلم عربي يا فصحى classical Arabic, but a little bit قليل 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 قليل. You know, say, تشرفنا أخي ما اسمك؟ Well, اسمي عبد الصبور عبد Muhammad. تشرفنا. It's a pleasure to meet you. You know what I'm saying? And then I ain't not where, I know certain things, you know what I'm saying? So very little. And then if the person speak English, and it will switch over to English. But because you don't, conversational Arabic, because you're not fluent in the conversational Arabic, does not mean at all that you do not know Quranic Arabic. You know what I'm saying? It's just does not. You know what I'm saying? They're two different things. So the brother uses that trick. He traps a lot of brothers out there, but they don't know. It's like he'll tell them, "Oh, well, do you converse in Arabic?" And then he'll start conversing in Arabic. One day, what I'm going to do, I would love to bring one of my Mugdal, Ishmael, who translated the Quran from English into Arabic, who studied Arabic, who goes to these countries and speak Arabic very fluently. I want to bring him into the panel and say, "Yo, converse with this man. He knows conversational Arabic very, very good, because he goes to this country and he speaks. I want you to have a conversation with him." You know what I'm saying? Right? And then go into the Quran. You know what I'm saying? And go into the Quran, because there's a lot of people misleading people out there when it comes to certain things. And certain also, even with biblical text, like I said, I'm not one to propagate it so much. I'm not one who is so gung-ho about any type of religion or anything, or in scriptures, the Old Testament, New Testament, or all the Testaments, the Last Testament, or Psalms. I'm not one invested too much in it. I study it. Of course, I've studied it. And I reason a lot of things out that I can tell you. Hey, Bando, salud. Bando, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Greek named person that appears sometimes. Yeah, salute to everybody here, who appears sometimes, and I'm concerned doing it as a clap back at the brother or anything like that. I'm doing it as a concern for people. You know what I'm saying? That has to be, we have to be very, very careful, people, of the trick that people play, man, with, and so when you're aware of it, but like Fatima, may she rest in peace, she wants to know, she said, find them dumb, leave them dumb. I've learned how to do that lately. Yeah, they do play a lot of games. I do, yeah, they do play a lot of games. But when you find somebody that, like I'm saying, they rely too much on that whole concept of playing a chess game. But that's a board game. It's limited. There's rules and regulations, and that's very limited. I go beyond the board, beyond the board game. You know what I'm saying? Beyond that. So there, it's so very uningenuine, very, and that's where you can use the word pseudo to the max. That's where you can word the word pseudo. A lot of pseudo podcasts is on here, and you know what? Shout out to them, and good for them. Making money and whatever, and they find their way as a hustle. I call it the Harlem Shuffle. And that's good. Shout out to them. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. But if you know better, you're not gonna get caught up in it. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get caught up in it. So anyway, good book that my one of my students, one of my Zamal, sent to me. Man, I've been reading up on this. Let me tell you something. It's in the food we eat. Simple as that. I'm 62 years old. People say you don't even look 62 years old. For one, it's genetic, mental, but also all of that has to do with the way you eat. You see, I had my smoothie this morning, but I did have little eggs, with the bread and the cream cheese, whatever, because I like to eat sometimes my eggs, it's a dairy product, which I'm gonna cut out the dairy little by little. But that's one of my weakness. Bread is one of my weakness. I'm gonna try to find out a way that I can make my own bread. They got recipes in here of how to make your own bread. I definitely need to do that because if you know that you have a weakness or something, all you got to do is tweak it and shift it around. So if I know I got a weakness for bread, I love my Italian bread. Oh my God, I just love bread. Then I know that I'm gonna have to shift it around because much of a one thing like that can lead to illness and disease and stuff like that. This book is a great book, man. It talks a lot about, and this book is the continuation of another book, which is another conversation I wanted to have about the spiritual nutrition. And it talks about your light body energy. Am I laughing? Who's that? I can't even see. So it's your light energy. Things that make, the reason why our muscles move, our muscle move, our eyes, visions, and we see everything. It's because of the currents of electricity and magnetism, electromagnetic forces. The people out here don't believe in that, and I don't know why it's so difficult to understand that there is a current going through your body, right? And that same current of to see things out there, because in order for you to see that you got optic, there has to be certain currents, electricity or magnet going through these optic nerves, right? In order for you to see, in order for you to hear, in order for you to think, in order for you to navigate around in your everyday life, you need energy. And that energy, is study on it. It's the life source of your body. The electromagnetic force, that's a life source of your body. I don't see what's so difficult for people to really grasp that. But there are people that, oh man, they will argue about that. And I'm like, how can you not say that we have energy? Maybe because these people don't have energy to do anything in life. They're lacking in certain type of energetic, powers. They're lacking in certain things in life, man. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what it is. They're just couch potatoes. I don't know what they're, people that, I don't know what to call them, but it just seems that, you can't refute that. So this electricity, the magnetism of that also is connected with the chemistry of your body. So certain foods that you eat can energize you. There's certain chemistry. Some people think that caffeine energizes them. By drinking a certain type of or eating certain foods, they feel energetic. What is so difficult to understand about that? Yes, more greens to your diet. Good. The right greens. Not all greens are good. Just the right greens. And and this book is great because it'll tell you how to. The idea, the people out here that have a diet, alkaline, no, it's not about being too alkaline. It's not being too acidic. It's balancement. Your body naturally balances itself. You know that? So a lot of people that eat a lot of alkaline food, they're going to trick off their acidic sense in their body, what they call the catabolism in their body, and they're going to start tearing down things. They're going to run into problems. Too much acidic, you know what I'm saying? The same thing. You're tearing down your body. You have to balance it. Your blood is going to naturally try to alkaline. Stay balanced. It's built in our systems to stay balanced. If it don't, then if you lean more to one side, then you get into a dis-ease, because the whole thing is to balance your life, to balance your diet, because that's the whole key to stop this ease. When something is at ease, it's at balance, it's tranquil. When something is off, it's dis-ease, and that's how disease is set in. This book is really deep. It goes really deep into that. I'm going to read another more chapter on it. I was learning about the kefir and the different type of kefir there is. I went out and I bought kefir whole milk, which I should not, because it's a dairy. They do have kefir which is a fermented um, type of milk. And they do have it in a non-dairy, which is a coconut kefir, non-dairy products, and that's what I'm being. Again, shout out to Zamal about the raw goat milk. It's very good because of the enzyme and whatever. If you're gonna drink anything, let it be goat milk because cows, even cows when they grow up, they don't even drink milk. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's why people are all over obese, and also the pasteurization of a lot of these products too. Louis Pasteur won the war against, I forgot the other person, but and that set us back. So now, this energy source, this energy body that we have, they have condensed that, and they have observed and condensed it into a system of what they call power, energy power. I call it the Azub Quabat, the energy center. Azub Quabat, the energy center. So I've done a lot of podcasts about the earth energy magnetic field, right? Sacral, the root sacral, the solar plexus, the heart energy, and it's a breakdown of all of that. And I'm going to continue on doing that because I'm learning, and I'm learning more and more and more about it. And being that I'm a percussionist, that's linked up with with the earth magnetic field and the root. You can take that earth magnetic field and it can help you in your survival. Because as a percussionist, because of my genetics and me knowing about the my the migrations and knowing about my descendancy and knowing about the rhythms and studying about the rhythm, my tribe and so it's also helped me to survive. Yeah, I can go out there and get that bag playing percussion. It helped me to survive. It became an art form because that magnetic field, that earth magnetic field, that genetic blueprint or ancestral pattern now became my root, my survival. Then it became my pleasure, my muse. Then from my muse, it became my willpower to go out there and play, right? And now it became my heart, my music, my balancement in life, and on and on and on. And I use it also to resonate in the percussion. I resonate. Then I what? Balance my thinking, my crown, all the way up to my learning about the constellation, the Sirius constellation, on how that reciprocal that with the earth magnetic blueprint, and now it all adds up. You know what I'm saying? I can make a I can reason that out, and that's what it is. So I'm saying you find, that balance, man, that total, that's my body. That's my etheric body resonating in what I do with percussion. Resonate. That's energy that has to be put into the percussion. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us have different things that we can resonate with. You know what I'm saying? We just have to find it. You know what I'm saying? We just have to find it. Some in art and some in music, some in visual art, some in communication, right? And some people just work with forces of nature, with animals, you know what I'm saying? And work with forces of nature and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. That's the balancement. And so. So yeah, I tell you this, man, a lot of things going on YouTube. I'm glad that I detach myself from a lot of different podcasts that have, man, created bad. I mean, they're being revealed. The revelation. Everything is being revealed about them. How what they're really doing on these podcasts. You know what I'm saying? Now I just strictly get into podcasts that's gonna teach me something that actually is beneficial to me. Like for instance, the Full Sail podcast, what I do, and also there's certain different podcasts that teaches actual tutorial, what they call tutorial. I try to do that. Other than that, these other podcasts are not tutorial. These podcasts are not good. I'm telling you, very detrimental, cause a lot of separation. But then again, yin yang. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, if you're going to engage in anything like that, then know that those, then you have to balance yourself. Then know that, hey, listen, observe it and know that this is not where it's at. You know what I'm saying? It's not where it's at. So you can always learn about another person's positions and knowing how they get down, whatever. But at the same time, you have to be firm in what you believe in. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for those that came through. Yeah, it's been a while. I'm gonna try to do this more often on my channel and see those congas. There's good things coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna rebrand this channel and really catapult it. Get it up to where I need it to go. Just for again, just for for the edification of people, my loved ones, and people that I know, and just to keep it real. It's like a communication. You know what I'm doing. I hope you're doing fine. And what are you doing? And how are we connecting here? And what are we gonna do to connect here? You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, all in blessings, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.